everybody! Welcome to video 4 of our September series. I'm Rose from Rebel Leader Academy, and tonight we're going to be talking about the difference between a rebel and a maverick. So rebel and maverick, they are 2 of 5 different sub-archetypes of this outlaw, this kind of main overarching outlaw archetype, right? So there are some important differences to know about these two. And it's important for you to know which one you more identify with as well, because it has a lot to do with probably your past and how you think about things and your perception of things and some of the things that you have fought for or things that have really bothered you, probably things that you've gotten into disagreements about a lot of people with. So the first one I really want to talk about is the rebel. Now, we're all here on this page because we were called, and said, yeah, we're rebels. So that one in particular, rebels, they are rule breakers, right? So we've got rule breakers, they are risk takers, and they hate convention. Now, this is really important, this last one about hating convention, because it's sort of the people that go against that whole white picket fence ideal, perhaps, right? It's if you were born into some kind of a culture that you disagree with, that the norms and expectations of that are just something for you feels fundamentally off and you're just not going to go along with it. It could be religion. It could be, like I said, your basic culture, like the country that you're from. It could even be something as small as your family culture, your family traditions, whatever the case may be. The thing to remember about rebels is they are all about social change. So they really care about changing people's minds and hearts and beliefs. Now, this is really different from the maverick that I'm going to talk about in a minute. So if you have this more real rebel sub-archetype in you, things like social injustice or people that are very narrow-minded in their perspectives, especially when it comes to other people. Even things like if it comes to animal rights and how we perceive the universe, or it's really all about perception, and how that interplays with the different social structures that we have in our lives and that we have to work within or not, or without. So, for example, if you grew up part of, let's say, an organized religion and there were dogmas that you were just really against, right? That would be one of those things that you would kind of feel this inner need and this compulsion to talk to other people in your community about, in that religious community, and say, do you really think this is right? Do you really believe in blah, 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 or that we should be doing it this way? Or, if you have somebody, let's say, that is really racist, right? You would be the type of person that would go against them and be like, okay, well, what about this? Like, what about this particular person? Like, do you really know all people in this particular race to, quote, hate them? So it would be interjecting other perspectives, other ideas, other examples. And this is really important to this rebel sub-archetype, is to open people's minds and hearts, and cultural beliefs, right? Versus, let's talk about the maverick. So the maverick is more the sub-archetype that we see in movies and in culture, in our ads and things like that. So the maverick is that loner, whereas rebels aren't so much loners in the sense of they really want to build communities around whatever change that they desire, whatever they think is a better way. The maverick archetype doesn't really care about changing anybody. In fact, they just kind of want to be left alone. They want to do their own thing. So they stand for personal freedom. They stand for, live however you want to live. Their motto would be live free or die. So it's really about, I don't care what you guys are doing as long as you don't intrude on what I'm doing. And I'm just going to be however the fuck I'm going to be without any regard to you guys, because I really don't care. So they stand for this ideal that we can all do whatever the hell we want with our lives and be and show up as whoever we want, which is really wonderful and so needed right now. But for them, it's not an outward push of energy. In fact, mavericks tend to be pretty quiet and they just want to be left to themselves. If you want, they help us and the world to embrace individuality and change simply by showing up as themselves and being unapologetic about it. Now, of course, you can have a blend of both, right? Nobody is necessarily just one or just the other. But we tend to lean in one way or another when it comes to these different archetypes. So, naturally, are you more who is with top people? Are you more like, leave me alone, I'm going to do my own thing, I don't care what you think, what you believe, I'm going to go in this direction? Both of these sub-archetypes are incredibly important when it comes to making a global change and expansion. And that's where we're in about a week, we'll get to all of that, of the bigger picture and where this falls in. But I really want you to listen to these sub-archetypes and say, I really am more that live free or die. I've always lived in my life not really caring what other people think about me at all. Or you're more on the rebel side of things, the more social change side of things. And you're like, you know what? I actually really care a lot. In fact, I care so deeply about this that I'm willing to talk to people about it and fight for this perspective and try to change things in that way. So I hope that's helpful. I have 3 more sub-types to go into that I will do on Friday with you. But I want you to start thinking about these in that they are different and they all sort of have different goals and different ways of going about how they have this like rebellious energy in them for the whole process, right? So rebel thinks social change, think they want to change hearts and minds, and they will go against every rule, every dogma, and break all of those kind of conventions to do it. They don't care in that sense, but they deeply care that other people take on their belief system, take on, or at least be willing to open their minds to listen. Whereas the maverick doesn't really care whatsoever. Maverick's just like, nope. If we were living 20 years ago, at least in the US, and it was you're coming out as gay or whatever, right? That was a big deal. So think of the mavericks as being those people. They would just be like, yep, I'm gay. I don't care what you think. Like, I'm going to live my life this way and fuck all y'all. Whereas the rebel would be more of like the activist, would be more of like, well, here's why it's okay to be gay. And let me tell you, and maybe this friend over here of yours is gay, and are they so bad? So it's in that sort of an angle. One is very much outward energy. I want to change your views so that we can, kind of push humanity forward necessarily. And then the other one is I'm just going to be who I am, show up in the world and live by example. And I don't care what the rest of you think. So I hope that was helpful. Like I said, we have 3 more. And today's letter, if you are doing our warrior contest, is R. So today's letter is R. And I will see you guys again on Friday with our last 3 sub-archetypes. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.